Joined live by New York's Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, who can really provide some additional insight right now on those remarks from the president and a whole bunch of other topics we want to get to. So good morning to you, Lieutenant Governor. Thank you for joining us. I want to begin
Good morning. Thank you.
I want to first begin with those comments from the president, him saying yesterday it's not up to the governors to open the state. It's his. But the Governor Cuomo, that is, planning a reopening of the economy, assembling a task force. So can you respond this morning to the president's comments and the confusion this is creating for so many New York residents now?
And this is so unnecessary. You know, what we really established early on was that the states had a lead. In the absence of federal leadership, the states led, and also we're the ones who shut it down. So it's logical that we'd be the ones that would open it up once again.
So the president, does he have the authority to overrule what the governor is planning?
I don't think we want to head into a constitutional crisis. You know, I'm a lawyer. I took constitutional law class. And there are rights that are reserved to the states if they're not taken by the federal government and the Constitution. And those rights are the ones we're planning to exercise.
I want to talk then about this task force, right? Moving ahead, looking forward to the next chapter. This task force that's now being assembled, since it is Governor Cuomo's responsibility then, according to you, and not the federal government. What is the timeline for this, and what do you see as the responsibility of this task force in terms of reopening?
Well, what they're going to do is judge the needs of each state, come together and see if they can come up with a coordinated response. We really have a regional economy, particularly in the tri-state area. And so opening one business or one bar or one restaurant across the river doesn't make sense. Because people will just violate this social distancing of your state and go to another state. So it's absolutely just makes all the sense in the world to have a coordinated response. And that work is starting immediately.
When do you see as the timeline then? Do you have a timeline for when you can begin to see some things beginning to reopen?
We don't have a timeline yet. This is the first time there's been an effort in our country where people have come together in a coordinated fashion to chart a path forward to using the facts, the data, the science, and also to just open up the economy with respect to different industries.
And
transportation.
Speaking of the economy, you know, a lot of things have to do with the unemployment numbers. I'm sorry to interrupt you here, right? But the unemployment website has been crashing for so many people because of the overloading of that, people logging on to try and file for unemployment. So what is the governor's office doing right now to improve those response times and get these people up and running right now?
This has been a source of frustration, a 40-year-old system that was dealing with 50,000 calls a week and had to go to 10 million. So what we've done is added 1,500 people to respond to the phone calls. We've completely changed the experience online. When you go and apply, the number of questions is down dramatically. And also, you can leave your phone number. You don't have to wait on the phone any longer. Someone will call you back in 72 hours. So it is going to be a vastly different experience for people.
Okay, good. And some cautious optimism that we've heard from Governor Cuomo in regards to the crisis, starting to see a flattening of the curve, starting to see a plateau. What makes him and you think that the worst of this is over? And what do you want people at home to know then about those restrictions that are in place, that this is not a time to then go back outside?
That is absolutely the right. What we look at are hospitalization, and we're seeing a trending people going into hospitals, and also the number of people going to ICUs. And what's important is we're going to start seeing a reduction in mortality rate over the next few weeks as a result of fewer people going to the hospital. And so we want to keep that trend going. And if people start feeling that it's time to go out because they hear that the worst is over, we will be set back for a long time. We need to continue on the path we're on.
Understood.
But I want to give some hope to people. That's why this whole council, this regional effort is underway, because there will be an end to this. And we're starting that process.
So I want to get to that regional effort then. There has been a lot of confusion about New York City public schools and whether or not they remain closed. Mayor Bill de Blasio was here on Pix 11 Morning News yesterday saying that he has closed the schools and they will be closed for the remainder of the school year. The governor saying things a little bit differently, saying this has to be a coordinated effort, like you are saying, with the tri-state area as well. What are parents to do about this confusing message right now? And what do you have to say about that? Are schools closed, or is it still being decided?
Schools are closed at this time. Clearly, that's under an executive order issued statewide by Governor Cuomo back in March. And he also reserves the authority to make the determination when the time is reopened. And that is something that's under discussion now. We're certainly teachers and the students.
No, I
But
know
it
schools
also
are closed
impacts
right now, Lieutenant Governor. I know schools are closed right now, but I want to clear up what exactly the confusing message is for parents who are saying, are they closed the remainder of the school year? Can the governor's office say right now that schools are closed for New York City until the remainder of this school year?
the governor has not made that. He is very clear, considering all the factors. No decision has been made about statewide opening. What happens in one city cannot happen independently of what's happening in Westchester and Nassau and Suffolk County. There has to be a regional approach to this.
So do you understand then the confusing message for parents to hear one message from the governor and one message from the mayor about this?
Absolutely. And I understand, I'm a parent myself, and but we have to continue with the distance learning, the online learning, keep the kids focused on learning as much as they can, not lose any more time, because it's so important that we keep these young people engaged and educated, and decisions will be made. I know it's frustrating, but there will be decisions forthcoming.
All right, Lieutenant Governor, I do appreciate your time this morning. And about that learning, we will be talking with the president of the United Federation of Teachers coming up in just a bit. But thank you for your time this morning. Appreciate it, okay?
Thank you.